They don't pay me for this, but Wilkinson, these lemon Wilkinson waters, they are amazing. You gotta drink bottles like this without looking kind of weird when you do it. So there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and put this to the side. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Reggie Casual. So if you are coming to Japan and you're trying to get some of those coveted Japanese brands to add to your wardrobe, what are some things that you should worry about before you start buying all willy-nilly without a care in the world? Well, I got some warnings for you that you should heed before you come or before, or before you decide to buy online. Let's go ahead and hit that intro. Still laughing at what I just said. That was weird. Anyway, Japan is one of the best places to get specialized brands and styles that are just hard to get anywhere else in the world. But there are some caveats. Man, I'm never good at saying that word. There are some caveats to shopping around. On one end, it often seems too small for the average Westerner. And on the other end, there's quite a bit of stuff that is oversized or free size, as we say. So typically, when shopping for pieces in Japan, the general consensus is to size up. That's what everybody says. Size up, baby. You're gonna be all right. But this is a bit of a vague explanation because it's not always size up and done. While Japanese people tend to be a bit shorter than average Westerners, they aren't diminutive. There are, of course, tall Japanese people that don't have issue finding pieces at all. Some of them are quite fashionable, I might say. So what gives? What gives? They're tall. What are you talking about? Well, it's actually the width of the garments that is the culprit. Japanese people tend to be incredibly slim, and this is where a crap ton of issues arise. Take me, for instance. A medium is my natural size in the West, but in Japan that can turn into an L or even an XL, and that's mainly due to my shoulder width, baby. So we gotta measure these. I'm just wider. And it certainly has its benefits, but in Japan, it can become a very glaring issue. The safe bet is to take your measurements well before you go shopping to get a clear indication of what size you need. Many select shops have sizing charts to help you purchase accordingly, and a lot of the employees are very knowledgeable about what size you should get. I mean, you could also try it on if you're in Japan, but if you aren't, you should measure. And be sure to measure in the metric system. Japan has no idea what the heck you're talking about when you use inches. I've tried in the past, but it didn't work. Plus, metric is way easier. I have completely adopted it because I've just been here for too long. Keeping up with sizing, shoe size. It's gonna be another problem. I don't even know if you see this whole thing. Shoe sizing is gonna be another problem that you're gonna run into in Japan, especially if you have big feet. Japanese people tend to have small feet, and it's one of the few issues that your boy Reggie Casual himself has some major issues. You see, for brands like Nike, Adidas, Asics, basically the major brands, this is no issue. They have the sizes you need. I mean, I wear a size 28.5 to about a 29, which is basically between a 10.5 or 11 in US sizing. Problem is, I like wearing artisanal shoes and seek out shoes from specialized designer brands like Julius, like this shoe right here. This is a Julius boot. And finding anything above a 28 or 10 in Japan for those kind of shoes is basically a lesson in learning how to give up while you're ahead. You just take failure as an option. It's unfortunate too because a great ton of footwear is available in Japan for some amazing designers, but if you wear anything above a 10, you may be out of luck. You can still try and seek, but it's certainly a hard ask. So the shoes thing, if you got big feet, it's gonna be a problem. All right, so I briefly mentioned the big brands in Japan in that last section, right? Brands like Nike, Adidas, Champion, Dickies, The North Face, New Balance, right? You may think, I could skip those. I got those, right? But do not, and I repeat, do not sleep on those labels simply because you may have them in your country. You may be like, why Reggie Casual? Why that? Well, I'll give you a little bit of headway here. So for instance, you should absolutely forego like the Nike store entirely and go to third-party retailers instead. Because like Atmos is clutch, but Getry, Billy's, Kickslab, and Mita all offer exclusive models from time to time that only release in Japan at those specific retailers. They may not even be major releases or announced. They just are a shop collab, and you'll never be the wiser because you didn't go in. Even brands like Champion, I know you're used to, Champion is super popular in Japan, and they operate completely different and have different offerings. In fact, mostly all Champion in Japan is made in America, which is weird. They make the Japanese sizing in America, bring it to Japan with totally new stuff. It's quite weird, but very, very revealing about the state of fashion today. The same goes for brands like Dickies. Dickies has a completely different lineup in Japan. It's actually quite hilarious. And the North Face. North Face, well, the North Face in Japan is run by a completely different company, and they have an entire lineup of Japan and Asia exclusives, and Puma especially, because Puma is very popular in Japan, and there's a lot of Puma Japan exclusives that you just can't get anywhere else. So if you're a fan of Puma, definitely hit up the Puma store in like Cat Street or any of the Puma retailers that you can find. All right, so next up, for all you trend-chasing fashion heads out there that need that Japanese fix in your wardrobe, you like the trends of today? I implore you to check out more offerings from like Wacko Maria, Jada, Maison Special. Those brands are amazing. Now, I'll talk about those labels a bit later in a future episode, but they certainly fit the climate of where fashion is today with the added benefit of having this Japanese twist. And this is where I have to say, yeah, brands like Bape and Mastermind may be in that list. Some of you older heads may be into like soft net and engineered garments. You know about all those labels. But those labels that I just mentioned, Wacko Maria, Maison Special, those labels are kind of like the new age of Japanese brands. Almost Black is in there, Ujo. A lot of these labels that aren't really getting a lot of airtime right now are going to be some of the biggest in the future. So don't sleep on those, and you can find those at particular retailers like Studious. All right, so moving on to ladies. I know there's quite a grip of ladies who watch the channel. They were asking like, yo, where do I find a channel like yours that focuses on Japanese fashion? You know, the casual, minimal, cool side, like just the regular side of Japanese fashion. Unfortunately, that doesn't exist yet. We're trying to get into it, but I'm gonna hold you down right now. Ladies' fashion in Japan is tough. The consensus for Japanese women's fashion is tilted in the cute and modest direction, and it can be incredibly hard to find stuff that is specifically female body type oriented as it relates to the West. What am I talking about? Frankly, those sexy body-fitting outfits that are commonplace out West are just not in Japan. Frequently, ladies in Japan who want to change it up, opt for more androgynous styles or play up men's styles in a different way, or just wear the same exact thing. Or if they want something more revealing, they hop and skip towards the numerous outlets that offer Korean styles. Haha, that's a bit of a change, right? Yes, Korean styles are very, very popular in Japan, specifically for young Japanese women or just Japanese women in general that want a more revealing, sexy, body conscious look. I'm trying to be very just PC with it without, you know, I don't want people to be saying stuff about me. It's probably somebody gonna say something anyway. Anyway, yes, they'll go for Korean styles in Japan. There's a problem with that though. A lot of these clothes are cheaply made and are akin to fast fashion. So that is a bitter pill to swallow on that front. However, Japanese women have been really good at making fashion a bit more colorful in Japan as a whole. They are very good at putting things together, especially when it comes to vintage and secondhand clothing. They blend in JP cuts and silhouettes with remake and punk elements, and they're really, really adventurous. So while mostly you're gonna have a hard time because of JP sizing, unless you are JP size for fashion, ladies visiting Japan have more of an opportunity for studying fashion and what to bring back home with them, or just some inspiration. I hate to put it this way, but we really shouldn't talk about Japanese fashion in the sense of men's fashion and women's fashion. There's things that are clearly more feminine and things that are clearly more masculine. But then there's this street aspect that is far more androgynous than probably any other fashion city, especially when you're coming to Tokyo. All right, so the next thing that you gotta be wary of when shopping in Japan is that the best stuff is hidden, at least hidden from view. My general rule for shopping in Tokyo, if everyone is going in the same direction, you shouldn't be there. Mostly tourists though. Like if it's tourists going all in the same direction, you shouldn't be there. Unless a specific store you love is located where everyone is, of course. Now recently, I've been seeing this all the time. It's just been a terrible problem. You have tourists aimlessly walking around places like Harajuku, unaware that they're missing stores like United Arrows and Sons, Studious, Beams Tea, Beams itself, Japan Blue, etc., etc., etc. I know they're having fun and chilling in Japan, and I don't want to stomp on that fun. But they really have no idea that they are stuck in the thickest of tourist traps. And because Japan doesn't really present it like a tourist trap, it seems like everybody go in there to enjoy some fashion, but it is a tourist trap. Especially today when they walk around the new Urahara, which has lost most of its local charm years ago, unless you go down specific streets. Tokyo's best spots are the places with the least traffic. I'm just saying that straight up. And most loyal customers. And many people complain that they simply can't find those places because they just don't know. And perhaps they should be more visible. But in a way, these specialty Japanese shops like it that way so they can give the best and most intimate customer service possible. That is a thing. I mean, there is a way for you to check out some of this hidden stuff because I did start my fashion tours again to uncover all of this on Airbnb, so you can actually check me out there. So you're free to join me on a Wednesday in Japan if you're visiting, so you can see all the places that I'm talking about. It's a shameless plug. I'm aware of this, but it is available to you. It is an option, and I like talking to people and showing them fashion. You might discover something that you didn't know existed. And finally, the last one, all you bargain shoppers, there are cheap options in Japan. That's everybody, what are some bargain brands in Japan? So we have shops like Wego, Spins, Shelter, Muzi, and even Shein. Shein opened up a shop, but I certainly think those are a bit in the H&M-like category. So if you want stuff a bit cheaper, but still Japanese, check out Rage Blue, that's amazing. Hare, or any of the brands part of the ST group. If you don't know what that group is, it's fine, but they're all part of like the same group. Also, brands like Ivor are really good at pricing and a more street-driven look. These labels aren't bargain bin cheap, but cheap enough for you to try out and see if you like the style and can set the stage for upper tier labels in the future. Also, they have great sales, so you can get things incredibly cheap. For instance, Hare was my go-to when I was still figuring things out and what I wanted to do, and even today, I see a ton of pieces that I like. Over the years though, it has become a tad more expensive, but a whole lot cheaper than buying like Yoji Yamamoto or Julius or the Viridian or AF Artifact. Brands that I buy today, yeah, it's a whole lot cheaper than buying those and a great starting point. Again, we'll talk about those labels that I mentioned a bit later, but Hare is a good start for if you like that style. In any case, that is my buyer beware episode for shopping in Japan. If you have any questions or tips, maybe you've been to Japan and you want to tell people what to do, yeah, you can put all of that in the comments. Have fun with it. You know, we're trying to keep it positive, keeping it casual. Or you can answer our question for this episode. What styles are you most interested in when it comes to Japanese fashion? Why or why not? Your comment may appear in a future video, or your topic that you came up with may appear in a future video. One of those things might happen, so definitely comment. At the very least though, drop a like, hit notifications, subscribe, but most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info in international fashion, culture, and business from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. And I will see you guys in a minute. My voice was a little parched right there. Like my American accent came out when I was saying Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Like I said it like that. So let me do that again. But most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info on international fashion, culture, and business from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. And I'll see you guys in a minute. That was much better. I liked that one.